Time for more horror recommendations. Alright guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Zach with Zacks Books and welcome back to Zocktober. We are down to the last, I think, 2 or 3 videos here. And this one is going to be horror book recommendations. I believe it's part 7. I did one earlier in Zocktober and I said I was going to do a second one. And I have got a second one for you. So, got 5 books this time. No particular order in terms of most liked versus disliked. We'll link these down below, whatever we can. And yeah, don't forget to check out the other stuff down there. Instagram, Bookstagram, Pango Books, Danielle's channel, podcast, all that fun stuff. And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and let's get into the books. Alright, first book up is Alien by Alan Dean Foster. So this is the novelization of the movie. I really enjoyed this book. Like pretty much the movie, well no, because the book came after the movie. So the book here is pretty spot on to the film. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really good. I had not seen the movie in a long time and it made me want to watch it. I believe I ended up giving this 5 stars. I do want to read Aliens, and I believe Alien 3 are all by this same guy, the novelization form of the film, but I do not have them, and I want them. So, but yeah, Alien was a really good book. Same thing as the movie. If you don't know what it is, there's a ship that is out in space, and it is like a group of, I think they're people from Earth, and they're awakened because something happens to where they are like sent down on this planet. On this planet is an alien species that they don't know about, and all hell breaks loose on their ship. I think it's called the Nostromo. Yeah. And really solid book, and like I said, it's just like the movie. So if you've seen the movie, read this book, it's the same thing. So there you have Alien by Alan Dean Foster. The next recommendation I have is Jeff Strand's Clowns vs. Spiders. So this book is kind of a comical horror book. It's kind of funny. It's basically, we're following this town where a carnival gets closed down, and we're following the main clown's name is Jaunty. And pretty much what happens is I think the amusement park closes and they're out of the job. Or no, they're a circus. That's what they are. They're like a circus act. The circus goes down or whatever. And so they need new jobs. And they get hired as horror clowns. Like ones you find in haunted houses and stuff like that. But they came as comical clowns. So they're having a hard time adjusting. It's a really funny story that goes on with that. Well, simultaneously, what happens is we're following this storyline of this amusement park place where they want to expand. They dig into this old mine shaft, and inside the mine shaft are ginormous spiders. They are about the size of, I think they say, I don't remember the size reference they make, but like a small dog, like a pug maybe. They're decent size. And pretty much it's just a pure comedy gold horror book. It's really good. I did enjoy the story. I think I ended up giving this 3 or 4 stars. But it's just really fun to go through the story. It didn't really seem like it was thoroughly detailed written. It was kind of like a more laid back horror film, horror book. And I like that change of pace. I thought it was really cool. But definitely a good book, and I would highly recommend this. So they have Clowns vs. Spiders by Jeff Strand. Next up is a book that I was sent by Scott. Thanks again, Scott. And this is The Neighbors by Kay Lucas. Not Anya Allborn, because that book is not as good. So I gave this 5 stars. It is one of the most disturbing books I've read this year. Basically, it's a woman. They end up needing a new start to heal, and they move to this new town, and in this town, the people are kind of odd. They're a bit sketchy, and honestly, it's a short enough book to where I can't really say a whole lot about it, but there's some murders that take place. There's all this weird, ritual stuff that happens. I really, really enjoyed this book. It was a really fun experience. I gave it 5 stars, like I said, and it was just really cool. So, Scott, thanks for recommending this book. I really enjoyed it. But, like, there's not a whole lot I can say about it because there's, like, twists everywhere. Like, the husband's kind of a dick. Like, it's, like, all I can really say. It's just a really good book, and I enjoyed it. It's disturbing as hell, though, so, like, be ready for that. But doesn't really happen towards the end, I guess. It's kind of more, well, no, it's... Yeah, it's this weird story. Like, there's so many twists. Like, you think it's going one direction and it goes a complete opposite. But it's really cool. It's a really great story. I definitely would recommend it, though. I want to say it's got stuff to do with, like, pregnancy, like pregnant women or something like that, if I remember correctly. But it's a really good book. Yeah, there you have The Neighbors by Kay Lucas. All right, the next one... This was released this year, and Danielle has read it and absolutely loved it, and I absolutely loved it. Hidden Pictures by Jason Rekulak. I still don't know if I'm saying his name right. This book was really good. I believe we both gave it 5 stars. I did a reading vlog with this book. If you have not checked it out, check it out up here. And this book was really solid. So basically this is a book about a girl who is getting over a drug addiction. She's trying to turn a new leaf, and like her supporter or whatever I don't know what the term is for like a recovering drug user. But like the supporter like gets her a job with like being a babysitter for this family, and like the dad has got like real high standards. The mom seems a little bit more laid back. And the kid is this, I think his name is Tommy. I think that sounds familiar. Teddy. I knew to start with a T. But basically, she's a babysitter for this kid, and he starts drawing some weird stuff. Like scenes of like a murder and like all this weird, like creepy stuff. The twists in this book are phenomenal. I don't know. There are some disturbing things in this book a bit more towards the end. Again, there's just so many plot twists in this book. It's like a horror thriller book. It's like on the fence with horror and thriller, but it's definitely, I would say, a bit more horror than it is thriller. And I would definitely recommend this book. It is really eerie and very good. It's pretty fast-paced, too. It's not like a slower book. I'd say the first little bit might be a little bit slow, but it picks up pretty quick. Yeah, there you have Hidden Pictures by Jason Rekulak. Alright, and the last book I'm going to recommend is probably one that is going to get some mixed opinions and views. It's my Stephen King pick, and I'm going with the Tommyknockers. So, it's a large book, at least this paperback edition is. It's like 800 pages, something like that. To me, I enjoyed this book. I think I ended up giving it about 4 or 5 stars. It has its moments where it definitely feels different towards the end. I know this was the book where King went to rehab about 3/4 of the way through, and you could tell the change of pace towards the end of the book. And I want to say I noticed it, but to me, like I said in my top 10 Stephen King video, I like, not to mean it in like a stupid way, but like drugged up King stuff to me in like the 70s, 80s, and like 90s was really good stuff. I'm not saying I don't like the newer stuff, I just haven't read it as much because I wanted to get to the old stuff. And the Tommyknockers to me is still a good book. I mean, there are parts in it that I think are weird, but it's Stephen King. There's going to be weird stuff. I mean, that scene at the end of it, we all know what it is. But the Tommyknockers, to me, it's a book about this girl named Bobby. She stumbles across this silver dish in the earth, ends up being a flying saucer. And she uncovers it, and when she does, radiation emits from the saucer and starts giving people in the town of Haven which ironically enough is right next to Derry in King's like main map. And so, like, I don't know. Like, some people thought that the aliens in this book were kind of like, maybe that's what Pennywise was, or like some other race came after him or something like that. I would have liked to have seen some sort of connection between like Pennywise and maybe these creatures, or I guess Bob Gray or it, whatever you want to refer to him as. Because I definitely thought that there could have been some really cool connection between them. But overall, this book is not terrible. It's just you need to understand, like, I don't want to say it in like a mean way. You need to understand the difference between like drugged up king and clean king. And like, it's, I don't know. I personally didn't really mind it. I thought it was still a solid story. And that's the same with Dreamcatcher. I think that's a solid book too, and a lot of people disagree. And that's the nice thing about books, is there's different opinions on every book there is. So, to me, I would definitely recommend Tommyknockers. It's definitely like that science fiction horror type stuff, and it's, to me, I didn't mind it. So I would definitely give this a recommendation and give it a try. But you know, it is a bigger book. So there are the Tommyknockers by Stephen King. Alright guys, so those are the 5 horror books that I'm going to recommend in this part 7, I believe we concluded it is. We'll list them down below. If you have any other horror recommendations, let me know in the comments. If you have not seen the first 6 of these, check them out, because there might be some books on there that might pique your interest. And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next episode of Zocktober. Later.